What I want to do, it's called All These Knobs. I want to simplify what these knobs are, make it really clear so when we look at an EQ, we can feel very at home, whether it's this EQ here in Pro Tools, whether it's your stock EQ in Logic or Sonar or Cubase or Studio One or whatever program you work in, or whether you go mix a live show and you're staring at a live console, whether it's a big analog console or a new digital console, and you actually can say, oh, wait, I know what this is, what Q is, what bandwidth, I understand. You can become familiar with that setup and feel right at home. I mean, everything looks different, but once you get past the aesthetic, you realize these tools are the same. And if I understand the terminology, I can work anywhere. And that's what I want you to do, is be able to work on any platform. I mean, it's not about the way it looks, it's about knowing the tool and then feeling confident with it. So we're going to go through all these knobs and all these labels and bang them out. As you have questions, keep them coming, whether it's about this or anything we've covered so far. I really want you all to be able to direct the conversation and stop me at any point if something doesn't make sense. But let's break this EQ down and go back to our concept earlier in the day. All an EQ is a smart volume knob. Okay? Remember, all it's doing is turning up or down volume. The only difference is that it's turning up or down a specific frequency. It's nothing other than that. So all these knobs and these labels just control how we turn it up or down. It's very, very simple. And in this EQ in particular, this is called the EQ3 7 band. They're saying there's 7 points that we can grab an EQ at once if we wanted to. Okay, so let's grab a blank one here, just so we don't mess up my mix here. I literally have these 5 color-coded ones down here, represented by these 5 little dots up here, and a lot of EQs are going to look like something similar to this. When I grab this orange one and boost it, you could see down here that this knob is controlling that same little dot. Okay? So it's just a graphical representation of these knobs. So these are 5 of the bands, because I could technically, if I wanted to, I could do an adjustment on all 5, all in one plugin. Okay? But there's 2 more bands on this one, and they're these filters. Okay? So I can filter out low end, or I can filter out high end. And that's how they get the 7 bands. There's 5 EQ points and 2 bands on this plugin in particular. Yours might be a 4 band, it might be a 3 band. There's different ones, and we'll show you those in a minute. But for what we're working on today, just so you're familiar, all of these bands are all the same thing for the most part. There's just multiples of them. So if you can understand one band, you can understand all of them. Just like if you have a mixing console, when I used to look at a mixing console, I would be so overwhelmed because it's this massive piece of equipment with hundreds of knobs on it, and it seems overwhelming. And then when you start to realize that there's these channel strips, and once you understand, okay, there's the gain for the preamp, and then an EQ, and then a compressor, and then a fader, and then 30 of those, or 72 of those, and that's all the console is. If you can understand one of the strips, you understand the whole console. It makes the console way less overwhelming, and you realize it's not that big of a deal. It's the same thing with an EQ. If you can understand all the knobs on one band, then this happens to just be 5 or 6 or 7 of those in one plugin.